Oh, my Virgo lovers! It's MJ from Ultra Love TV. Welcome to my channel. I like to do these intuitive tarots, offering you guys divine guidance and love and clarity. I do online coaching for people endeavoring their spiritual awakening and transformation. I tend to work specifically with empaths, people who are very sensitive, deeply emotional, and yeah, people who are awakening, essentially. 'Tis a time of great awakening on this planet. So it's really exciting to be here. I know that it doesn't always feel like that. In fact, it feels it feels like, you know, really rough, essentially. Like, what is life? Anywho, I just philosophize, essentially, and noodle. I called it like noodle sharing, and endeavor to have a good time. You know, my kind of fun, basically. I have no sleep patterns. I don't really have any food patterns. I do like to drink coffee. I do like plant medicine. And I really like tarot. I've been doing these tarot readings for about a year now. Lana, Maxine, hello. How are you, my ladies? I shall say, my lovers. I'm really glad I came live. I might only do the Virgo live, but I naturally just wanted to go live and be like, hola, is anyone there? It's so great to see you. So this is Virgo. I'm Virgo Moon. I've been looking a lot more into the astrology. Divine Sight shared with me this website. I can't even remember what it's called. I think like Astro Seek or something. And you can essentially input your birth date and input the current date, and then you can track the transits. So you can, yeah, Maxine, yes, 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 yes. I'm like thinking, yeah, but we have a hoodie crew right here. Yeah, mine just went off. However, I'm coming back to the cards. This reading is for the Virgos. Some of my nearest and dearest and close working affiliations are Virgos, and yeah, I'm really grateful for the Virgo energy. I've come into it more, when that's not true. I've only realized that these certain qualities that I've embodied all of my life are very Virgo vibrashe. As in, like, super organized. I'm somebody who like can't necessarily properly relax until I do like a deep clean kind of thing. Or like, ever since I was little, I never did I leave stuff on the ground. I would always pick them up and like fold them up and put them away, out of my own little weird desires, right? Like, I was the kid who was like excited to like go back to school, so just so that I could buy the stuff and organize my binders and pencil sharpeners, and yeah. And it's funny now because I talk about these things, and isn't it bizarre? It's like we're so moving toward this digital age, and so things like stationery and paper and all that kind of stuff, dare I say, is going to be less and less needed, used, desired. I'm aware of that. I used to be a big journal. I'm thinking journal head, and yet I am aware. I'm like, I still love writing. Like, I still love journaling. I love making notes, but I do it less and less. And now when I'm writing, I do tend to go to my computer and write insight and thought. Anywho, I bet you guys are so excited to get to know me. So yeah, if you want to know more about me, what I do, my journey, and Ultra Love as a movement, just born from my heart, as a compassionate person wanting to see more compassion in the world, like thinking that's normal. Anywho, off I go. I'm gonna pull these cards for my Virgo lovers. You guys, yeah, such a soft spot. I mean, a soft spot for all the signs. I have a serious soft spot for Cappies and Cancers and Scorpio. And like, at the same time, I'm so happy being on my own right now. All right, my Virgo lovers. This is not specifically a love reading, by the way, you guys. This is intuitive tarot. So I purely pull cards and listen to intuition. what I find is that when people resonate with the vibrashe, as in they res with me, and then if you're resonating with some of the readings, regardless of the time, even regardless of the sign, dare I say, sometimes I find with this community we're, yeah, they flow, they're fluid. So like I remember one month, one of my Libra like friends was like, holy shit, the Aquarius reading just blew my mind. Point being, like anything that we do in the new paradigm, it's ultimately coming from your intuitive guidance. So it's like, if you're feeling guided to book a reading, guided to listen to certain channels, blah blah, that's your path. If myself or anyone else that you're sharing or exchanging goods with or information, if it feels off, if it feels shady, if it feels like, huh? Don't do it. Protect yourself. Express yourself. Oh god. Okay, let's get into these cards, my Virgos. Oh, Virgo loves. Uh, this is this is pretty dynamic. Okay, so I am reading for June. At the same time, I'm getting a sense that this has been the energy for a while for whoever or whomever this is resonating with. This has been an ongoing battle. This has been feeling that whatever the situation, the heartache, the grief, this does feel like people. This doesn't just feel like you and one other person. This feels like a work situation, a family situation. And that heartache has been something that you have been endeavoring to heal, I want to say lifetimes. And yet I'm like, ooh. But there again, that could be part of the feeling I'm getting about people, karma, situations, these things that just seem to loop back, these people that you just can't seem to escape from. And yet there is this the Four of Swords. Do you know what I'm getting here, Virgo? I feel like there's something going on for some of you. You're coming up in the reverse. There's this energy of conflict around you. There is this grief card. Now, by the end of the month, if we're going to read it like that, there is the Ten of Swords. So it would look as though you do eventually figure out how to lay it down. You do eventually manifest the healing of the end of this cycle so that you can, create your world, so that you can enjoy yourself, so that you can go out and have fun and celebrate. And it does look like that. It looks like this Ten of Swords comes down and then bosh, celebration, good times, you're in a brand new world. For some of you, this really does feel familial. You know, there could be a child involved here. This brothers and sisters quarreling. The heartache and the grief energy. I feel like for some of you, you're at a distance from these people. You're actually maybe the prodigal kid or whatever who went away to live their life. And it could be that some familial thing comes up, loops you back and triggers this deeper healing, which leads to the ultimate ending or completion of a karmic cycle. The world in reverse is making me feel like that. The world reverse is making me feel like this is a container of creation. This is, as in, these last few cycles of healing for you have had to occur. There is no ever lifetime where you're going to be able to avoid this dance, as it were. And yet, at the end of it all, there you are, with your friends, having a bevy, having a chat, having a giggle, having a dance, having a good time. There's this like Knight of Pentacles over there lurking. Lurking. That's the word I'm getting. Just be mindful, Virgo. That's a Knight of Pentacle. That's another Earth sign. Like a cardinal, or not cardinal, rather Cancer, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. There's just this energy from this pentacle, from this Knight of Pentacle. This feels like somebody either is crushing on you or somebody is watching you. I think they feel timid, and yet weirdly, like, I'm getting this maybe they're younger, or maybe they come across as not serious or not. Yeah, the younger. I get a sense that you might, the way you might perceive them as this younger chap or this a student, you know, like something. Hola, John Beanie in the house. Yeah, this younger student or somebody considerably younger. It does feel like that, and yet they're like, they're they're watching you. Not to be creepy, even though maybe that's creepy, but let's be honest, social media. We all do it. We all stalk each other on the social. Come on. No, I've never done that ever. Although, is it healthy? I don't think so. um, so yeah, you have this final completion story, epic, for those of you who it's resonating, because it's the 10 of swords, and everything's reversed. This is all bad luck. This is all stuff you're wanting to lay to rest. This is disempowered, I'm not worthy energy. This is isolation, withdrawal energy, conflict after heart wounding, or endeavoring to heal and having people around you being like, why are you healing? What the fuck are you doing? And you're like, ah. So it's like, cut it out. And I feel like this could be quite a finality, as far as like, you know, in the movies when somebody just gets up and is like, I'm out. Like, I'm not putting up with this bullshit in this job no more, kind of thing. As in, like, you make a stand. It doesn't have to be like that, obviously, but it does feel like a proper, like, huh, oh, like, boom, but we're done with that. We'll be off now. Like, that's not, this is not my life anymore, and we're gonna put that final sword in my proverbial backside, and I'm gonna float out of my body and go, you feel me? You're gonna go in a different direction. And the direction for a lot of you guys, Virgos, my Virgo lovers, is fun. More fun. Like, go out and have a good time with people. That was a message I personally received from my my mushroom ceremony at the weekend, was like, lighten up. And the weirdness, the weird paradox of all this stuff is the lightening up actually comes from this ability to just accept ourselves as who we are. That's like this other layer I share sometimes about being an introvert. It was only as an adult that I started to, one, recognize that I'm an introvert, and two, really accept it. And the more I accepted my introversion, the more I'm like, holla, I just live in my own little world. But like, it's fucking joyful and fantastic. And the more I do that, the more I recognize that other people apparently are not living in their own joyful world. And I think that's a shame. Right? Because we have this ability as these creator beings to just, you know, boom, you know, live amazing lives. And why aren't we? Because we live in fear. Bah. Okay. Running away on a tangent. Running away on a tangent. Like my new top. Oh, look at the... Did you see this? The symbol? It's an eye. Isn't it the Eye of Horus or something? Anyway, I was looking around for my Bob Marley top, which I'm still determined to reclaim eventually. My Bob Marley top. God, I wrote, like, when I went to Bali and wrote the book, I was wearing that top all the time. That book, like, any of you, if you know that top, if you ever stumble upon it, please bring it back to me. Boo, the eye. It's so hard to lighten up when you feel like everyone gets upset, right? And I think that's like part of just my natural introversion right now, is like being just loving myself, right? Like that. And like, and then I keep looping because I feel these old patterns coming up of like, you shouldn't be doing that, and then it's looping back to just like, obviously my like parts of my life where everyone is like, Molly, you can't just blah 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 blah, or you need to get, you know, you need to socialize, or you need to do this, or, and I'm like, okay, try to fit into everybody's world for them, you know, ultimately to make other people feel better, and they're under the veil of social conditioning. So like we have a monumental, beautiful task here. Let's come back to this reading, Virgo lovers. So straight up legit, this is wrapping up the cycle here, because what we have not only the 10 of Swords, finality, completion, like it's over. It's over. And then there's a world card. Now the world is reversed. So this is all the energies giving me this sense of like your world got turned upside down, like a bunch of bullshit, some heartache, some pain, grievance, some conflict, some petty. And this energy right here, the five of wands, it always, not always, but like often is the case that I get this sense of petty conflict, just low vibration, like unaware, like what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What are you blah, blah, blah. And so it's just taking you some time to go like, fuck this shit. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't want this. I can't have that. This is not fun. Brr, 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 brr. And then you're like, oh no. I jest, but it's true because the world card is here and the clarifier is the Ten of Swords, which would tell me finishing one cycle, which has been pretty effing painful and long-winded, into now what? And so you got to create your reality, which means we're getting focused on the thoughts and the feelings, and you're a little bit in the gestation period. I'm getting a real strong sense of this energy shift potently happening this month and building from the early June eclipse into that June 21st eclipse and the solstice, summer solstice. So my goodness, like if right, like this is definitely it, like this month. Yeah, the split. So, and ultimately the Gemini energies that we're working with. So Virgo, you have got quite a task here of letting go and ultimately knowing that you are creating your world. And here's the thing, no compromise, Virgo. I think you've spent most of your life compromising your own desires or your own divine will for other people, and the compromise card is here. These are my Osho cards I often pick out for more spiritual guidance, or like a little bit more just like what other messages want to come through my mouth from my heart, from spirit. So and this is I can remember when I was sitting, so I think it was 24, it was between 2013 all the way till about probably the end of 2015 or 2016 when I finished. So 3 or 4 years it took me to sit A Course in Miracles. And in A Course in Miracles you have like the journal, I suppose. I could forget, but like there's a journal, there's a whole bit of text that you read before you move into the 365 days of lessons. So just for a whole year, there's daily lessons that you practice, that you repeat, that you meditate on. And I'm certain that one of them, and it really hit home for me, was about the fact that truly in our ascension, you know, because A Course in Miracles is essentially similar to any spiritual text where it's talking about a way of being, a way of operating from within self, right? It's teaching us about our projector reality, essentially. And when it comes to alignment, like when it comes to the truth of your divinity and the truth of your soul, there is no compromise. And that is such a kind of far-reaching thought concept from like, you know, language is hard work, you know, we have to compromise. Sometimes you're just going to be a fucking miserable human. So, you know, all that bullshit, that it's not about not extending ourselves. It's not about not caring. It's not about if we're feeling called to go out of our way and help somebody who needs help. That's not compromise. That's just being kind. That's just being courteous, right? Compromise is something deep in our soul. For an example, back in the Dizzy, when I moved to Vancouver, I was a budding young actress wanting to pursue a career in the entertainment business. But I'd had my spiritual awakenings, which meant I my awareness or perspective or whatever happened pierced through the veils, and I saw a bunch of corruption and shady shit basically. And I'll tell you what, when I had an agent and I started to go for auditions, I'm maybe 2, and then I got called for an audition for Weight Watchers, and then I got called for an audition for Mackie D's. And I'm like, obviously there's like compassionate veggie vegan vibrashe, having had these awakenings. And people around me are like, Molly, sometimes you're just gonna have to sacrifice your principles to make money, as in just go to the audition, just book the gig. And I was like, no, I can't. If I were to, and you know, I didn't even go to the audition, let alone get the gig, but still. And I knew in my heart, I was like, if I couldn't be in a McDonald's commercial, it would be against my principle. It would not align with my soul. But you just kind of have to make money. And I was like, No. And then shortly thereafter, I booked a one-way ticket to England, and came with my journal and my headphones and like two sweatshirts and a pair of pants, and was like, you know, I had the awakenings, was like, I'm on this path, but this path is not it. Like, I can't compromise my soul. I can't be a face for companies that I think are actually a detriment to our humanity. I can't, right? So I'm like, no, thank you. And that was kind of the exit strategy, and the departure was just, I'm gonna philosophize and be a weirdo instead of like trying to fit in and be an actor. Because there again, for an empath, like even dipping your toes in some of these industries, again, it's a wild ride, because there again, for empaths, it's like we see, and there's different classifications, and of course we all have our own different intuitive gifts and abilities, but we're seeing beyond a veil. So for an empath to be in a kind of acting environment, but you see, instead of, yes, you see these talented people, and ooh, colorful productions, and la la, and also what you see are egoic projections. What you feel is insecurity, desperation, jealousy. There's just a whole bunch of crass. And, like, there you go. I'm just pulling on a thread here that, like, who gives a shit anymore, other than, like, let's just all individually endeavor to be happy stars. Because we're all stars. And that's part of the corruption of the 3D paradigm, in as far as the Hollywood manipulation goes on, that we're all stars. We're all deserving of big paychecks, for the work that we do. Heck, dare I say, we all deserve, like, to be here and live well, and not having to slave for it, and not having to, right? It's all this, and that's what we're still talking about, right? You can't compromise yourself. You gotta be in unity with your heart and soul, which requires a fair amount of inner noodling and, like, just life experience, God dang it. It's so weird to say, I'm almost 40 years old. Huh? What happened to my life? Like, for reals. Although I got to say, my lovers, any of you who also, when I was 19 when I had very radical spiritual awakenings, and it fucked me right up. And fortunately, there's more, like, through being on this guided journey, I found other radical badass lovers who respect the vibrashe. And then it's my idea anyway, or certainly my heartfelt hope, that all this spiritual awakening stuff just gets easier and easier and easier for people. And, like, in no time, we're living in a world with free energy. We're living in a world where pretty much no poverty and no starvation and no, like, mass slaughtering or genocide or any of that cray-cray going on. I'm 2 years old, thousands of years old. Thank you, John. And my earth vessel is infinitely radiant and youthful and healthy. Hello! Get your freak on. If nothing else, if I'm having a day where I really do just sleep like a legend, as in sleep for hours and just, like, get up and then go back to sleep and then get up and go back to sleep and maybe have a bit of smoothie, like, just these really kind of almost like fasting retreat days where I just, like, do nothing but am, like, in the awareness. Ooh, I'm gonna read, I think, from this one. And 40 is nothing regardless, and it doesn't matter. And I genuinely am setting my sights on that projection where I'm like, I literally become more and more attractive the older I get. My body gets more sexalicious the older I get. Not what this society programmed us to believe, that we're all just gonna go downhill and start degenerating past the age of 25. Which, let's be honest, look around you, that's what people act out. Well, everyone gets fat under. I'm like, well, you don't have to. If you reclaim the power of your mind, Jedis, and project yourself into the field so that everyone can see your bright brilliance. Not the shadow of the program, which is like, you're all disempowered slaves with sickly bodies and blah, blah. Thank you, John Beatty. So do you, my friend. This is like, this might resonate with some of you, but there's definitely a layer of this community where I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're fairies, you guys. Like, kings and queens of the fairy kingdoms, awaken your children. Like, fairies, gnomes, mermaids. Oh yeah. Oh, contact. And I feel maybe that's resonating actually. So the contact, these are my beautiful cards from Mark, who's our live share crew member and just amazing person. Like all of you and me. Remember, what we say about other people is a reflection of ourselves. You guys are amazing. You guys are stunningly gorgeous. Okay. So contact. This is the card. Ooh, and look at the colors. Oh my jeez. Oh my darling. Look at those colors. I feel like I just want to put them up on. Or this is what's coming to mind. I need some clothing of this color. I've got that blue and I've got the pastel, but look at that royal. Ooh. Or better yet, just like a charm. Oh, look, I need to like fix these, but how cool is it when you put, so this is Wanderlust. Oh, FYI, Roots. Roots. Roots is another beautiful soul in this community who also has a YouTube channel, and she also makes these really amazing birth chart paintings, which I cannot wait to share with everybody because she's like putting finishing touches on it, and she showed me a picture yesterday and I'm like, oh my gosh, la la, like, and then I'm like, so I'm visioning my new place, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have, it's just guys, it's just gonna keep getting more badass. Welcome to Alta Love TV. It is gonna keep getting badass. Okay, let me read this. This is gonna close down the Virgo vibrashe for today. So FYI, when I say vibrashe, so the live share crew is a little like membership site. Some of you guys are in it, and I typically go live once a week, but I'm endeavoring to do it more, so more live time with the live share crew, a little bit less live time here, just to protect myself. And somebody in the live share crew, or maybe it was an open public share, I don't remember now, but somebody was like, so how many syllables are in vibrashe? Just like, but just making weird noises is fun. Being totally ridiculous sometimes is absolutely the way to go. Because honestly, nobody knows. And like the shits is so crazy out there that you might as well just hunker down in your own little bubble. And remember what it's like to be an innocent child living in this body on this planet, and just literally be like, okay, that's your guys' story. I'm gonna create my own. You know, one where like I get to like play with the bugs and the birds and the bees and the trees. What does that make me think of? Like the birds, and this is like a sex lesson. Okay, I'm gonna read this for us, and this is gonna close us down. FYI, like, have I told you lately that I love you? It's true, because remember, everything you say about yourself is what you say about it. Oh my god. Anyway, let's get serious. Life's great synchronicities and the alignment of fateful events is very dependent on our contact and connections with other people. Holla, my sexy lovers. You have drawn this card today because it is important for you to make contact with somebody in particular in your life. God damn it. I sometimes I have a sense of who this is for me personally, but I'm like, I don't want to contact them. They can contact me. I don't want to contact them. I'm just being really fucking stubborn about feelings. So, blah blah, particular in your life. So this is a message, you guys. Okay, you're meant to make contact with somebody. FYI, you probably know who this person is, or they do. Whoever, cross watchers, holla. This one-on-one communication could be by phone, email, text message, or in person. In whatever way that contact happens, it is important that you reach out. Sometimes we resist or procrastinate doing the very things that will help to move us along our path. The contact card is asking that you look at whatever resistance you may have and gently push yourself forward to do what needs to be done. Perhaps you need to contact someone and deal with an emotional issue you would rather avoid. Maybe you have neglected speaking with a family member, loved one, or friend. You know, my lovers, this card that I'm reading for you is quite relevant to the energy of the entire reading as far as like wrapping stuff up. You know, sometimes it's really effective to send a message, to write a letter, but write it from that really anchored place of love and respect and compassion for self. You know, coming from that loving, you're like, this is how it is, this is how it feels, this is why I'm making the decision. Sometimes we don't even need to send these messages. Sometimes we don't need to so obviously communicate. The thing is, everything is infinite in truth. So when we communicate or express the resolution, it is done. Okay, so if this is to do with people that you really were like, I don't even want to fucking talk to them anymore, you don't have to. But unburden your soul, unburden your own mind and soul and heart by saying, this is what happened for me, this is how it felt, and we're done. That's enough contact, right? Or for some of you, of course, there might be people that you need to message and say, I love you, you know. Sorry, I pretended that I didn't. Like, I have mega love for you. Okay, so deal with emotion issue you'd rather avoid. Maybe you have neglected speaking with family member, loved one, or a friend. You need to get past your fear of making a business call. Interesting. Spirit is asking that you be brave and make contact with a certain individual. The stagnant energy that is being held through your resistance needs to be released and cleared. This will help to aid in flow of new energy, healing, empowerment, and manifestation in your life. Energetically, you will be free to set up and align the next step of your journey. Oh, maybe that's also... Remember when I talked about the Knight of Pentacles who's lingering? I feel like this is also part of the blockage. This contact card, I think, is quite relevant. And it's connected, obviously, to these cycles and these fights, the manifestation not showing up, the heartache. Like, this is deep. This is, like, really deep cycles, really deep healing. And the contact card is saying, is sort of offering this piece that there is someone. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's an ex-lover, maybe it's a kid. And there again, I do find the whole writing letters or creating videos, but not sending them. So often is the case that we don't need to express in words. We need it to be an honest expression of our soul. Once it's expressed, it's done. And ultimately, like, when we truly do that work, the other person will metamorph and shapeshift anyway. Like, they will naturally contact you, or they naturally be like, oh, that was forgiven 3 months, blah, blah, whatever, right? It's like, doing the inner work for yourself is the critical piece here, the most important thing. And there again, which is somebody having left, you know, cycles, or having been aware of emotional abuse patterns in relationship, like, that is a part of our liberation, to not question or deny, or just say, this is what it was for me, this is, I know my truth, and that is all. So you don't need to explain yourself, you don't need to justify yourself. All you need to do is express what needs to be expressed, and then forgive. There again, for some of us, it might mean meeting up with somebody, it might mean hugging somebody, it might mean saying sorry, whatever. There's just that this is a time, the Gemini, this cycle now is so building momentum to these new earth energies that it's like, come on, y'all, let's just drop it, let's just forgive, let's just get rid of all this and that any grievance, any pain, any lack of forgiveness, you know, any guilt, any shame, we can let it all go. There again, for some, making contact with somebody is going to help you out. Yeah, because the true letting go and the cutting cords and the healing of this energy is what's going to bring in these new, more stable foundations. And I think that's also desired. I think for a lot of you, you're very much endeavoring stability at this point in your life, you know. This card can also indicate that there's a very important person coming along in your life with whom you're about to connect. Be present within yourself when meeting anyone new over the next week or two. Be mindful of the energy surrounding anyone you connect with, especially if it is unexpected or synchronistic, as this person could be playing an important role in your future. So that's quite cool, Virgo. There's so many people coming in. I'm going to endeavor to do a few more readings today. I'm not sure exactly the timing. I may go live because it's really great to see you all here. I do miss you. And yeah, I got to say I'm feeling so much better and taking a lot of downtime and a lot of rest that I kind of feel like I've not been able to rest like this in years, potentially. And so I'm so thankful for your guys' support and mega love and the love we share among the community. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Mega love, John, Maxine, Lorna. Love you big time. So have a great day, you guys, and I will see you possibly a little later, or definitely see you real soon. Take care. Peace out.